Salam alaikum. Hello everyone. Welcome to this video. I hope you all are doing great and keeping healthy. I am Justin D'Souza, your math teacher, and this is my channel Best Math. In this particular set of videos, we will go through the Grade 10 Elite Term 1 exam questions. All the 20 questions will be explained. Let's look into the breakdown of these questions. The first 15 questions are all MCQs, where you will have 4 options and you need to select the correct one. And the last 5 are free response questions, FRQ, where you need to write each and everything in detail. A calculator is allowed and the exam is 150 minutes in total. Now for these first 15, it doesn't matter which method you use. So as long as you get the correct answer, that's more than enough. Here, each and every step must be detailed. Now to access all the solutions to each and every IQL questions that is in this presentation, I'll let you know how we can do it. And also to access all the explanation videos, all you need to do is click on that link, the YouTube link. This is the channel. Over here, if you go to the playlist, if you go to home, you can see there's different types of videos. If you go to the videos, there are different grade videos, so it will be very hard for you to search over here. The easy method would be the playlist. Here you can see all the grade 12, 11, 10, 9, advanced is already available. Now if you want the elite one, this is the playlist. You can just click on the full playlist. As I complete the questions, I'll be posting it up. It'll be up soon. You can click on any of the video which you want, and then you can see the explanation is in detail.
They give you
If there are,
numbers.
say, if there are same example type, same type of problem, I've just done one in detail and then the other one is for you to do. But you can see all the solutions are available. So please do benefit from this. I will try to put all the explanation videos as soon as possible. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do consider subscribing to it. It would mean so much to me. And I wish you all the best and happy learning. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the part 1, the MCQ part for the Grade 10 Elite end of term questions. In this part, we will do all the MCQ questions, the first 15 questions. You will be given 4 options and you need to choose the correct one. You can do shortcut methods, calculator methods, any of it. It's fine as long as you get the correct answer. So we will look into the question number 1, that is to analyze the characteristics of graphs of the quadratic functions. Here we have been just given one graph and we have been told to compare with another graph whose details have been given. Let's look at the details. They are told the y-intercept of 1 and vertex is at 1, 3. Now I will just plot it in the same coordinate because the coordinate is already there. Now y-intercept is 1. So where is 1? Over here is the y-intercept. What is the vertex? Vertex is the peaking point, and which is having a maximum. Maximum means the graph will only be like this. It will have maximum. If it's minimum, it will be like this. Now we know that this is going to be maximum in the sense similar to this curve itself. 1, x is 1 and y is 3. So over here is the vertex. Now then we will just join this. Okay, you need to draw a smooth curve. But if you know this is the vertex, then these are all symmetrical, right? Over here there'll be one more point, and at the same over here you can keep on going, but that's not required. For now we just need to connect this over here. Okay, it's not that proper, but it's approximately that. We will just look into the real answer. You can see this is the graph. Okay, it's corresponding to it. Okay, it's close enough, and you don't need accurate answers for that. Just to understand the difference between these two graphs, which is having a maximum, greater maximum. Obviously this graph, right? Its maximum is over here, whereas this maximum is just over here. And what else do you need to know? You just have to compare a few things. The y-intercept is over here, and the vertex over here is at 1, -1. The vertex over here was given also 1, 3. Maximum point is at 3 here, whereas the maximum point over here is -1. We can see the axis of symmetry. Let's just see where is the midpoint basically. You can see this is the same axis of symmetry for both. Okay, that's the axis of symmetry. That's it. You're just basically comparing the two graphs. If you understand how to graph, that's more than enough. They might just ask you which is having the, because it's MCQ, we can't predict what exactly they might ask. Anything can be asked. They might ask you the maximum point, which is having a higher vertex, or what is the axis of symmetry, anything. But the maximum, the greater maximum is by the g of x graph. Okay, this one which we drew. Let's do see this problem as well. Now it's having a minimum over here. What's about the minimum? Let's see which is having lesser minimum. Let's plot the other graph as well. The vertex is at -1, -5, 2, 4, 5. Obviously this g of x is having a lower minimum, and they have told the y-intercept is at 0.5. That's over here. So that means somewhere over here will be the other point. So the graph will be very steep like this. Okay, it's not very accurate, but you can see the original graph will be something like that. See, it's very narrow. And now we can see the highest minimum, the lesser minimum will be at g of x graph. And these are the vertex. This is the vertex for this one. The f of x is having a vertex of -1, -1. That's it. Simple comparison, nothing much over here. Let's see. Now over here we have tables and an equation. What do we do over here? Do you remember the formula for the vertex from this equation? First of all, let's write the standard form, that is ax squared plus bx plus c. Whatever is the coefficient of x squared is a, coefficient of x is b, that is -10 here in this case, the a is 1, and last part is all c, that's 5. Now this is the standard form. From here we can find the vertex formula, that is vertex formula. The x coordinate of vertex is given as -b by 2 times a. All you do is substitute. What is b value? Minus of -10. Divided by 2 times a. What is a? 1. So the answer will be 10 by 2, that is 5. The x coordinate of the vertex, is 5. So now for this one, they have told minimum, that means it's going like this, okay? This x-axis we found out to be 5. What is the y-axis? Just put the x value over here and find f of 5. The y value is f of 5, that is everywhere where x is there, put this 5 value, -10 times 5 plus 5. It'll be 25 minus 50 plus 5. It'll be 30 minus 50, that is equal to -20. So the value of this is -20. So this is the minimum point. -20 over here. Okay, that's the minimum point. Now let's see what is the minimum point here. 170, 70. Look, you can see a pattern in these 3 points. It dips over here and then it comes up. In the sense, it'll be like this at -10 and then it comes up, right? Oh, sorry. -10. So the y value is -10. What is the x value? It's 5, -10. The vertexes at 5, x value are the same thing, 5 and 5. But which is the minimum point? It's the given function f of x. Whereas g of x is having a greater minimum. The lesser minimum is at the function f of x. This is enough. And that's how we find lesser minimum. You can see this is -20, which we also found out. And then we just compare. F of x has lesser minimum, which is 10 units below the g of x function. That's it. Same thing over here. Please do try it and do it by yourselves. All you need to do is find the, we have done it just now, right? Same thing. Use the vertex formula. Find the x value of the vertex. Then substitute in the equation whatever value we find and find the maximum or the minimum value. Here it's maximum. So it's maximum value. After finding vertex, substitute over here. You'll get the maximum value to be -6. And then same way, check over here. Where is the pattern or the symmetry? Over here you can see this is pattern. The vertex is at 1, 3 here. So, sorry, it's 3 comma 1. X is first, 3 and 1. So the maximum point over here is 1. The maximum point at f of x is minus 6. Which is having the greater maximum? The function g of x has the greater maximum. Why? Because this is the vertex point here, whereas 3 comma minus 6 is the vertex for the f of x function. Compare them and write it. That's the end of the first question. Very simple. Just try to make sure you understand the standard form, the formula. And if it's two graphs, plot the other graph, compare it, and just try to practice more problems and be thorough with this. The second question is to solve quadratic equations by graphing. Now, you do not need to exactly do everything by graphing. There are shortcut methods. I will tell you the shortcut and calculator method because this is question number 2, MCQ. So you just need the answer. But if you're doing it exactly by graphing, first you need to make a table of values. First, we need to find the vertex, sorry. Apply the vertex, find the vertex. Now make a table of values. Some values less than the vertex and greater than the vertex. X values must be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are two values less than vertex, greater than vertex. Find the y values, make the graph, plot the points and connect it with a smooth curve. And now where does it pass the x-axis? At this and this. So it is, you can tell the answer is between 0 to 1 and 3 to 4. Now the same thing can be done in calculator. Let's see. Take out your calculators. All you need to do is press mode, phi and 3. That's it. I'll tell it again. Mode, phi is for equations and the 3 option is for quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c. There is no other x squared equation, so it's 3. Now what you do is ax squared, that means what is the coefficient of x squared? There's nothing, that's 1. B is the coefficient of x. Don't forget the sign. It's 4, not 4, sorry. It's minus 4. And lastly, we have 2. Substitute. The answer is what? It's 3.4. Now here, if the options are between 3 and 4, that means this is correct. Okay, because 3.4 is in between 3 and 4. It depends on your option. I don't think so you will get this correct answer. You might have ranges between 3 and 4. Yes, this is between 3 and 4. And the other answer is between 0 and 1 because it's 0.58. That's how we do it. Next question as well. All you need to do is once you're in mode phi 1, if you press on, it will be already open. Or you can just, if you're in the computation mode, the basic mode, or if you have cleared your calculator, it's in default mode, this is the mode. Press mode phi 3. To get back to the computation mode, press mode and 1 or just clear your calculator. Now let me go to mode phi 3 and let me solve this up. It's 1, 6 and 6. The answer is between minus 2 and minus 1. Sorry, between minus 1 and 0. Oh no, I'm sorry again. It's between minus 2 and minus 1, okay? Because minus 1.26 is greater than minus 1 but less than minus 2. Sorry. Negative numbers, I'm just confusing myself. Look, negative 1.26 is basically greater than negative 2 but less than negative 1, okay? This is what I meant. But when I was saying, I fumbled. And the next one over here is negative 4.7. It'll be greater than negative 5 but less than negative 4. So the answer you can see, that's the answer, negative 5, negative 4 and negative 2 and negative 1. You can even do the graph and check it. Please do other problems by yourselves because this is so easy, so simple. Please make sure you do them. All these solution sets are available. Now, if you want the solutions, the presentation, you can just click on the, just check the description and click on the link I've written for presentations. Click here, and you can download the presentation from there. So even over here, you can see very simple. Just use your calculator and you can solve any problem. Let's do say this one because there is no x term. Let's do this one. Mode phi 3. Now what is the coefficient of x squared? That is minus 1. That's the a value. But where is x? There is no x. When does a term disappear? It's when you multiply it with 0, isn't it? 0 times x is 0. So that's not written over here. So we write 0 instead of b. And lastly, we have 36. If there is any term missing, just make sure you put a 0. And we have over here 6 minus 6. That's it. So the answers are 6 and minus 6. There you go. Because it's very easy to see in a graph. When you even plot this here over here, you can easily find the answer. Minus 6 is having value of y as 0 and 6 is having y as 0. That means they are the x-intercept and they are the solutions. Same way, please do try the other problems by yourselves and check the answers over here. So these are the answers. You can pause the video or you can just refer to the presentation. So very straightforward problems again. Now over here, this one is a bit, it's a bit important. Why? Because let me try solving it. It's minus 1, minus 4, and lastly we have minus 6. What's the answer? That's imaginary number. There are imaginary numbers. That means there's no solution, no real solutions. Therefore, you can see this graph doesn't even touch the x-axis. It is away from the x-axis because there is no solutions over here. That's the reason. So this is the thing. Now, I hope you know how to graph them. You can just get the tables from here, mode 7 table, typing mode 7, and then type the equation, and then you can get the x values. Or you can also directly check the answer. Say you can just choose random x values, minus 2, and substitute over here in the calculator. Instead of x square, x put just put minus 2 and see what is the answer. The y values must match, and that's how you graph it. There are various ways to graph it, but for now we are just doing mode 5 and 3 to solve it up. Okay, what about these over here? A table is given, there is no graph. How do you solve here? Now, there will be a solution when the f of x changes its sign. That's it. Why? Because what does f of x change its sign mean? That means, now imagine this is the graph. It's negative over here, and now it's above, positive. That means if this is plus and minus, it has to pass by the x-axis where we have a solution point. Now again, when it changes sign, it will be plus, minus. It touches the x-axis. Solution. If it goes up again, then there's a solution. So now look carefully where y value or f of x values are, changing its signs. Over here, there is a change in sign. That is from minus 6 to minus 5. And then again, from minus 4 to minus 3, there is change in the sign. Then it's all fine. So over here, the answers are from minus 6 to minus 5. And let me just mark it over here. See, where's the sign change? This is minus, this is plus, sign change over here. So these two are the solution, and over here also it's plus, minus, the sign change here. So those are the solutions. Same thing over here. You can please do try it by yourselves and then check for the answers. Now you can see there's a sign change here. These are the solutions, and sorry, that's not the sign change. Here there's a sign change. Those are the solutions. Now it's 0 and 1 and 2 and 3. Same way, please do solve the other problems and then check for the answers. See for the sign change and you can get the answers easily. Now this one we have already done. You can just use the graph, you can use the calculator and solve it up. It's again mode 5, 3, and over here it's minus 3. There is no x, what happened? Minus 3. There is no x apart, so it's 0 over there, and lastly we have positive 3. The answer is 1 and minus 1. The answers are 1 and minus 1. And over here, same thing, you will get the answers very straightforward. Now over here, doesn't matter. Whatever is the coefficient, write it as it is. Negative half or 0.5 plus 1, next one, plus 5 by 2 or 2.5. You can write 5 by 2. I'll just show you. Just use this 5 divided by 2 is same as 2.5. Okay. So the answer is 3.45 and negative 1.45. So you can see the answer is, wait a minute, Okay, they are just asking you for the side chains. One answer is C, negative 1.45. So the sign, where is it? Where does it fall under? The sign changes at -2 and -1. Okay. And the next one answer was, sorry, this one over here. You need to press SD. It's 3.44. That means it falls 3.45, but it falls under where? It falls from 3 to 4, between 3 to 4. If they're asking you accurate answers, you can get it easily. If they're asking you a range, just remember it's between 3 to 4. That's it. Same thing, please do these problems by yourselves and then check for the answers. Everything can be done in calculator very easily, and please do check. Here we are in the same one. Last problem now. It's the same method again. Please do solve by yourself and then check for the answers. If you want this presentation, please click on the description and download it for reference. And this will be the end of the topic. So just use the calculator, solve it easily. Don't take the risk of graphing. Calculator method will save a lot of time as well, and it'll directly give you the accurate answers. Question number 3 is about complex numbers. We have to perform some basic operations on complex numbers. It's basically adding, subtracting, and multiplying. Look, here it's very simple. It's just to add. What happens? Make sure you realize that I and the number cannot be added up together. This is a complex number in the sense there is a real part and an imaginary part. This I part is imaginary, whereas the number is the real part. This together is called complex number, but whenever you solve, the real part is solved with real part, whereas the imaginary with imaginary part. Now, so how do you solve it up? So distributive property, it's plus, so it doesn't matter. This is all same signs itself. Here 6 plus 4 will be done separately, and the I parts will be done separately as well. I minus 5i. So what would be the answer? It would be 10. And what is this? 10. Sorry, I forgot to write the plus sign here. This is very important. See, it's 6 plus 4 plus I minus 5i. Okay, so it's 10 plus, it'll be minus now, because why? 5 minus 5i minus I will be 4i. So this would be the answer. Let's take one more problem. What about this one? Last one. Minus 4 plus 6, and you will have plus 2i minus 3i. Solve it up. It'll be 2 minus I. That's it. 1i is 2i. Now, when it's minus, make sure you multiply this sign as a distributive property, and both these terms becomes minus. Okay. So that's it. The answers are very easy, simple answers. We have got the same answers. And again, over here, the same thing. It's just minus. Now, okay, this one changes. What's the change over there? It's multiplication. For multiplication, you must remember something called FOIL's method. I'm sure you all know this. First terms multiply here, and this and this. So what happens is 2 times 3 is 6. Minus into plus is minus 2i plus 3i minus I times I is I squared. Now, what is this part and this part? You can simplify. It will be 6 plus I. That's it. What is I squared? We know I is equal to square root of -1. Square both the sides. I is equal to -1 itself. Sorry, I squared. Okay, I squared is -1. Now here we have minus of -1. So this becomes I plus 1, and we have 6 at the left side. So add them up, it will be 7 plus I. This would be the final answer. Just by FOIL method, simplification, and then solving for it. This is plus, I hope you understand this is plus sign. Okay. So if it's multiplication, very easy. Just do the FOIL method and you can see the answers. Do it by yourself and then check for the answers over here. Now the last one is the real world problem using the formula V equals CI. Find the voltage in a circuit when the current is given and the impedance is given in terms of ohms. So in impedance is the resistance, velocity is equal to current times resistance. That's the thing. Sorry, over your voltage. Now all you need to do is multiply C 3 minus J times I is 3 plus 2J. Do the FOIL method. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 3 times 2 is 6J minus 3J and lastly minus 2J squared. Here simplified. Now what happens? J, now we don't get confused. J is I equals J. Now J in the sense I, that is root of -1, square both the sides. What happens? J square equals -1. So here we have 9 plus 6 minus 3 is 3. So it's 3J. And lastly we have minus 2 times minus 1. So this will become plus 2, 9 plus 3J plus 2, and add them up together, it will be 11 plus 3J. This will be the final answer. So let's check the answers quickly. 11 plus 3J. Now this is, since it's mentioned voltage, it must be written V of volts. That's the end of this part. Very easy. There's no calculator method for this. Please make sure you be careful when you're using distributive property or any other property. And also, one important thing is, never, when you're doing the FOIL method, never miss out this plus and minus sign, because sometimes students tend to forget this when they do multiplication. Okay, 3 times 3 plus over here, and they might forget this minus sign. They might write plus, or sometimes they forget the sign altogether and they multiply it. So this is an important thing in FOIL method. When you're multiplying, if it's adding and subtracting, it's very, very straightforward and easy. Just be careful when you're multiplying the the complex numbers. The question number 4 is to solve quadratic equations by factoring special products. Now this method really doesn't matter here. See, the special products method, basically what it is, these are squared. You can see that 64 is basically 8 squared. So what you do is write 64 in terms of 8 and take it inside. X squared minus 64, you write x squared minus 8 squared. What is the special product? We know the differences of squares. That is, a plus b and a minus b is a squared minus b squared. How do you factor this formula? That is equal to a plus b, a minus b. This is the formula for a squared minus b squared. Same way over here, you have x squared minus 8 squared. You factor it out as x plus 8, x minus 8. And now this is the factor. X will be equal to minus 8, x will be equal to plus 8. That will be the answers. Now another way is the more easier way. It would be just the calculator method. For that, you need to have right side equal to 0. So take this to the other side. It's minus 64 equals 0. Now basically you solve it up. Let's take out our calculators and solve. Here we need to go to mod 5 and 3. And now substitute this. What is x squared? It's the coefficient of a. What is a? The coefficient of x squared is 1. What is x? There is no term. So it's 0. And lastly we have minus 64. So the answer is 8 and minus 8. That's it. If you have like this, it's very straightforward. But what if you have like this? Take this to the other side. Now it would be 1, 0 and minus 2, 8, 9. The answer is 17 and minus 17. What if I take this x squared to the other side? It will be minus 1, 0. And lastly, the last number 289 will be positive. The answer will not change. It's 17 minus 17. The answer will be the same. It's just that however you rearrange, it's fine. See, over here they have taken x squared to the other side. I took over here initially 289 to the other side. It'll be equal to 0, so it's fine. Here what you need to do is take 50 to the other side. It'll be minus 50 plus 14. So you can write it as minus 36. Or just write it out over here. 1 plus 0 and lastly we have plus 14 minus 50. It'll solve it directly and take the answer. See over here, it's minus 36. 6 and minus 6. The answer, yes. Same way, please do all the problems. If there are three terms, we know how to do it already. We have solved it up. So you just have to put, say, over here 4 minus 28 and lastly 49. And the answer is 7 by 2. Now here, what happened? The answer is only one answer, see? X, there is no x1, x2. Why? Because there's only a single answer x. If you graph this up, you will realize the graph is, let me just draw the graph here. It's 7 by 2, that's 3.5, so it'll be something like this. Okay, I did not touch it, but it touches only at one point, that is 3.5 or 7 by 2. No other part of the graph touches the axis. Only one solution. That's the reason, okay? Please do solve the others by yourselves. There's nothing new in this. If you're doing the calculator method, it's the same method. So you can pause the video and check the answers. Please solve first and then check for the answers. Okay, over here there's a imagined number, but doesn't matter. Let's do here, it's 1, 0, and what you can do is write 12 plus 13 this time. Why? It'll be 25. But why is that? Because this minus goes to the other side and becomes plus. Now, in this case, you're getting phi I and minus phi I. Now, how would you do that is, see here, it will be x square plus 25. There is no formula for x square plus y square. It's not for plus, it's only for minus. So here they have done minus into minus. What is minus times minus? Plus, right? But since you know that you can't do that, there is no formula for plus, so we do minus 2 times. Whenever over here you do this thing, because it's phi, we know we have to take it as terms of square. But is it technically possible, this one, from phi to taking as phi squared? See, let me just make it clear. 25 is what? Phi squared. That's fine. But minus 25, can I write it as, positive phi squared itself? If I do phi squared, it's going to be positive itself. There's no way I can get minus. Only and only if there is an imaginary number. Why? Because imaginary number is root minus 1, isn't it? So this will be squared and this will be squared. It's 25 and minus 1. So it will be minus 25. So that's the reason why if you write it like this, we write it as phi I the whole square. I hope this is clear, because minus 25 dissolves to phi I. That's the answer over there. And all the other things are same. But see, if you use the calculator method, you do not need to bang your head on this, because it's a straightforward method in calculator. So otherwise, you must just remember this part, extra part. Now, same thing over here. If you do in calculator, let's see, it will be 1, 0, and last one is 100 plus 100. It's 10i minus 10i. That's it. And same thing over here. It'll be 15i and minus 15i. And few more questions. See, these are the answers. Over here, take the square root of this 2, but remember to write I, plus and minus. In this case, you have to make sure that you write the coefficient of x square as 36, 0, and lastly we have minus 25. It's 5 by 6 minus 5 by 6. 1 minute, what did I do wrong? I've written this as minus. Look, it should be plus 25. Now the imaginary comes up. Okay, I comes up because of this part over here, minus 25. And similarly, please do solve this problem and then check your answers. There will be imaginary numbers, because over here everything is positive. 64x squared plus 49. So to make it minus, you need to add an imaginary number. That's how we solve it. I would highly recommend you to just use the calculator and solve it up easily. It will be more accurate and it will save a lot of time. Moving to the question number 5, it is to complete the square in quadratic function. This is called a completing the square method. We will learn about that, and then to interpret key features of its graph. Now here you have real world problems and you have to do 3 questions. I don't know how exactly it will be asked in your exam, because this is MCQ. You might be asked any one of this. Maybe to write the function in a vertex form, or to represent the given equation with all the substitutions, or to find the axis of symmetry, any one. We will look into all the three now. First of all, let's understand what's the question. It's about fireworks. The height of a firework at an amusement park celebration can be modeled by a quadratic function. Suppose the firework is launched from a platform of 2 feet off the ground at a velocity of 96 feet per second. Use the given equation, negative half of gt squared plus a v of t is with respect to time, basically t is time, and h naught, where the acceleration due to gravity g is given in feet per second squared, that is 32. Now, first thing is to write a function to represent this situation. We just have to substitute all the given function, given the values, and simplify it. That is the first question. Let's do it now. Over here in the question, it's all mentioned. It's 2 feet, 96 feet per second, and g is 32. So because everything is in feet, now what is the first part? It's negative half. G is 32. Just substitute 32. T squared. What is V? Velocity is 96. T plus h naught. See now here, it's launched from a platform of 2 feet. The initial height is 2 feet. It's from here. So the height h naught is height, right? So we just write plus 2. Now just simplify this. Negative half, this is 1 times 16 times. So it's negative 16t squared plus 96t plus 2. This would be the first part. Let's just look at the answer. It's negative t squared plus 96 plus 2. That's it. Now this B is to represent this equation in vertex form. Now do you know what is a vertex form? It's mentioned over here if you have forgotten. It is given as a bracket x minus h the whole square plus k. Here h and k is the x and y coordinates of the vertex. How would you do this? That is done by completing the squared method. What is completing the squared method exactly? Here, this is very important to know. Now, there are different methods. There is a formula as well which you can apply. This is A, B, C, right? You can apply by a formula, various other methods. But I'll tell you a direct shortcut method. All you need to do is to solve it as, completing the square. I'll just give you an example and then I'll do this. Imagine I have x squared plus, let me take a bigger number, say 8x plus 3. I need to write it in terms of a square, whole square and the other number. The method is very simple. This part, there must be no coefficient. It should not be anything other than 1. Here, just write x. What is the sign? It's plus, just write plus. If it was minus, it'll be minus. Now, don't write this x. You have to just write a number. This number divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is what? 4. Now whole square. Then it's not over. This plus 3. Before that, you must write minus this number square, 4 square. So this much, right, is equal to this part. What I've written. See, this much. These both are equal. I'll prove it to you. What is x plus 4 the whole square? It is x squared plus 2ab, that is 2 times 4 times x plus b squared, that is 4 squared, and we have minus 4 squared. Now let me cancel this, and what happens? It's x squared plus 8x. It's the same thing, this rewritten form. But now this is a shortcut method. It will work all the time. I'll rewrite this. 1 second. I'll just clear it all and write it. Just memorize this shortcut form. Always the first term will be, it should be without any coefficient. Only one can be the coefficient. Don't write the square, just write like this. Whatever is the next sign, plus this term divided by 2. So it is 4, the whole square. It's not over, minus the square of this term. Now what's remaining? Plus 3. This would be the thing. And if you simplify this, it will be x plus 4 the whole square minus 16 plus 3. When you simplify this, you will get x plus 4 the whole square minus 13. Okay, this is completing the square. I'm stressing on this because see, complete the square method is there. If they just give you a quadratic equation like this would be the answer, completing the square. Now let me just do one more problem, a similar problem. Say, let me just erase all this with a negative sign. I will take another number with a negative sign now. Imagine I have 2x square minus, or let me just give it like this, minus 2x square plus 10x. Okay, this much is enough, then plus 3, anything. Now here, what is the thing? This term cannot have any coefficient other than 1. Even minus cannot be there. So what I will do is just focus on these two terms, not this. This leave it aside. Let it be outside. Okay, this plus 3 is somewhere outside. Okay, now what happens over here inside? This here, take the negative 2 common term out because 10 can be written as 2 times 5, right? So I will remove minus 2 outside. Minus 2 is removed common out. What is remaining? Here only x square because negative 2 is gone. Basically, you're dividing all the sides by negative 2, both the sides. So when you remove this common term out, minus 2, because you have to do this no matter what. So you can just memorize this. Minus 2 is taken out and divide both the sides by minus 2. So this and this cancels. So you're remaining with only x squared. Okay. What about over here? Minus plus divided by minus will be minus 10 by 2 is 5x. And this plus 3 remains. I've written it very far, but that's fine. Keep it aside. Don't bring it near now. Now let's complete the square. Minus 2 will remain. This completing square is only for this term. So what happens here? It will be the first term just x minus, because it's minus, this term will be halved, that is 2.5, the whole square minus 2.5 squared. Now here there is a very important thing. This completing the square is only for this part. See, I will just mark it in blue. This is this, okay? So whatever is this minus 2 is outside. So you must differentiate by a bracket. This is very important. Here many go wrong. Why this is important? Because whatever you have completed the square, right, is this much. This minus 2 has to be multiplied here now. Distributive property, this minus 2 will be multiplied here, and then you simplify further. Okay, this is important to understand. Now my question is a random question. I just took it at the at this particular instant. Your question won't be like this. It'll be a proper numbers. Now you won't get usually a decimal point, but let's do this, and that time you'll understand much better. Now let's apply that concept. Here we need to simplify as well after applying. So what happens over here is, first, can this 16, negative 16 be there? No. So I will have to remove negative 16 out. So what is remaining? T square plus this is divided by negative 16. So it will be minus, sorry, this will be minus 16 5s are 80, 6 times t. Okay, this is what happens. And then plus t, keep it aside. Now I'll complete the square, minus 16, and over here I'll be completing the square, t minus 3 the whole square. Why? The square we write only t, this becomes half of 6 is 3 the whole square, and don't forget minus whatever is this term, 3 the whole square, plus 2 is outside. Now this 16 has to be multiplied inside like a distributive property. It will be negative 16 times t minus 3 the whole square. And this is all numbers, okay? Minus and minus will become plus. 3 square is 9. I'll write it as 9 multiplied by this number 16 and then plus 2. So you can put this entirely in calculator directly, or 160 minus 16 is 150, 144 plus 2. It is 144 plus 2, so I'll write it minus 16 times t minus 3 the whole square plus 146. This is the simplified form. Now why we did like this? We have to take the common term, we have to complete the square, When you complete the square, whatever is remaining is number, so it will just be a number. Now this is the vertex form. This is basically the vertex form. Yeah, this is the vertex form. Now here, whatever is this number, only that number, not the sign. It must be negative. If it is positive, it will be opposite sign. See over here, minus. And this must be positive itself. That is the x coordinate of your vertex, and y coordinate will be 146. This is just for understanding. Now we can see the answer over here. They have done the completing the square. You're ultimately getting the same answer. I hope this is clear. Yeah, it's not clearly specified, I guess, but completing the square is very, very important. Now, even you can use formula. There are other methods as well, completing the square. Okay, whichever method is easy. But what I just told you, right, is easier when there is no coefficients. Now, let's do one more problem just for the completing the square. X minus 16, x squared plus 3. Now all you do is write the first term only for these two terms, right? Write the first term without the square minus half of this is 8, the whole square, minus this square, 8 square plus 33. So the answer is x minus 8 the whole square minus 64 plus 3 would be minus 61. This is it. This is the answer. These two are equivalent. Okay. That is how we get the answer. So in the long run, this shortcut method will be very easy. Just try to remember the steps, remember the method, and then that's it. So now there is one more part, right? Okay, the last one, axis of symmetry of the vertex. Now, what is axis of symmetry? Let me draw a simple. Now this is negative, so it will go like this. Okay. The vertex is somewhere over here. The x value of vertex is always the axis of symmetry, which clearly divides any parabola into two equal halves. So we have just found the vertex right over here. This is the answer. 3 is the answer. But other way, how to find the x value of the vertex, x coordinate, x axis of the vertex? We have done it in the previous problems. The formula is x value of vertex is given by minus b by 2a. Now remember, the initially we substituted and solved. What was this a value? It was half times 32, that's 16, so it will minus 16. So a value was minus 16t squared plus 96t plus 2, right? We have to use, what is b? 96. So minus 96 divided by 2 times, what is a? Minus 16. So the answer over here would be minus 96 divided by 32. Okay, minus. Now minus and minus cancels off, it becomes plus. 32 3 times will be 96. So 32 one time, 32 3 times. Because why 3 over here? It's very simple. So x value is 3. That's it. That is the axis of symmetry as well. So the value t, the axis of symmetry is at, since it's not x over here, it's about t, we tell t equals 3. That's it. And what else is required? Here, this is supposed to be 3. Say the axis of symmetry is 3. Basically, over there, it is dividing into equal halves. So it'll be the same height after 3 seconds. So this is supposed to be 3. Axis of symmetry is that point over here. Okay, which divides into equal halves. Similarly, you can solve the other problems. All you need to do is all substitution. See, look at this. Here, negative half. G is given as 9.8 in terms of meter per second. So it will be 4.9. 4.9 over here. And then, what is there? V, that is minus 4.9 t squared plus what is v over here? Velocity is given as 4.18 t plus what is the height? Initial height is 7.5. This is it. This is how you write the function. And then we have done the other things. Now once you get the function, you can do the completing the square method just like what we have done a while ago. You have to take this common out. Let me just do this over here. Only for the first two terms. Over here, just focus on the first two terms. Take negative 4.9 common outside. So you are remaining with t squared plus, what is 4.18 divided by 4.9? You can just use the calculator. Here it's 4.18 divided by 4.9. It's 0.85. See, now you can see here in the final answer you have 0.85t. So if you do this method over here, just that you have to get this without the coefficient. That's why this is a little bit difficult at the beginning if you have such numbers. I hope in the exam they give you easy and straightforward numbers. If you know the method, it's fine then. It's 0.85t, but this minus is this, so it'll be divided by minus, right? So it'll be changed to minus this one. Okay. Why? Basically, if you have to take this common out, you have to divide both the sides by this term, negative 4.9. So when you divide the first term by negative 4.9, it'll be only t squared. Here, when you divide negative 4.9, you'll be negative 0.85t. And then don't forget this plus 7.5. Now we do completing the square. This remains over here. It will be t squared minus 0. Sorry, I'm writing it wrong. I'm writing the same thing. It's t minus half of 0.45 would be 0.425. The whole square minus the square of this. What is the square of that? It's divided by 2 multiplied by the same thing. That's the answer. It's 1.8. I'll just write 1.8, 0.18, sorry. It's 0.18. I've squared this, minus 0.18 plus 7.5. Or you can just write 0.4 the whole square. That's also fine. Okay. Now here then you multiply this. It'll be negative 4.9 t minus 0.425 the whole square, and when you multiply this with, I'll just do it over here, negative 4.9, you will get 0.89. So over here it will be negative and negative will be positive. I'm sorry, this minus and minus becomes plus. 0.89 plus 7.5. So the ultimate answer would be negative 4.9 t minus 0.425 the whole square plus, add this up. For this you're I'll just do subtract because it should be added up. Now this will be the final answer, but it's plus and plus, okay? It'll be 8.39. So this is the final answer. Let's look over here. You can see it's the same answer. I'll just erase this. It's just that they have taken 3 decimal point. We have not taken 3. It's fine. It's the same thing. Here also they have taken 3. So if you take 3 decimal points from the beginning, then you will get 27. I've approximated to 2 decimal over here, right? That's why I'm not getting the accurate answer, but it's fine. It's very close enough. It's negative 4.9 times t minus 0.425 or 427 the whole square plus 8.391. That's how we get into vertex form. Now here they have asked the vertex form, but this is the first thing you have to do it, then the vertex form. And then if they ask you the axis of symmetry, you can easily tell this is the axis of symmetry, 0.427, or use the formula for axis of symmetry, that is given by negative b by 2a. So if you apply this formula here in the given equation, you can easily get the axis of symmetry. Now, this is axis of symmetry. If you substitute this, what do you get? The y value. Or you can see here in the vertex form, this is the x-axis of the vertex, y value of the vertex. So this is the thing, vertex is given over here. And we know what is the importance of this axis of symmetry. It will be equidistance or cuts the parabola into 2 equal halves. That's the main thing. Now over here, see, this is a different type of problem. Let's quickly go through this. A rock fall from the top of the cliff, that is 25.8 meters. Now this h naught is given over here. Let's write one by one. This is 25.8. Use the formula h of t given over here, the equation where g is 9.8. Okay, that's the standard. Write the quadratic function that models the situation. Determine to the nearest tenth of a second the amount of time it takes the rock to strike the ground. That means it's fallen. What's the height over here? 25.8. Okay, the height, we need to see when it falls down on the ground. So let's write this given equation as negative half. G is 9.8 t square. You'll just multiply this. I'm sorry. Now, what else? What is the velocity when it's touching the ground? It's zero, right? It's at state of rest. So 0 times t plus the height is given as 85.8, 25.8. That's it. Now you have to just do simplification. It will be 4.9 t squared. That's minus plus 0. This is gone plus 25.8. That's it. Now that's the equation. What else do they want? The time taken. Okay, now the time taken when it strikes. I'm sorry, this is 25.8. Okay, now solve this equation. Equate this to be 0. Solve this as a quadratic equation. Find the solution of the t value. Basically, that is the answer of the time it takes to strike the ground. We will use a calculator easily. We can solve this. Here, just press mod 5 and 3 because this is quadratic. What is before the coefficient before t squared? We have done this before. It's negative 4.9, 0, and lastly we have 25. Because x is t is not there, therefore it's 0. B is 0. 25.8. The answer must be, what is this answer? 2.29. But they have told what? How much decimal? Nearest 10. So it's 2.3. The answer must be 2.3. And can time be negative? No. So we have to just take the positive answer. Okay. The first answer only. The answer must be 2.3. Yes, that's the answer. Now you can do other methods as well. But see now what I did over here, just this equation, substitution, and directly calculator. It's fine. Now I'm sticking to this calculator method because we have already studied in the previous questions this calculator method. That's the reason. You can use the other methods as well. You can see over here. Now this is same like what we just now did. So please do try this by yourself and then check for the answers. Here you have to just, the equation is given. It's so very, very easy. All you need to do is solve for the t. Now I'll do it in calculator. Take out your calculators. Here just put this equation. Mod 5, 3, or if you press on, once it's in the mode, it'll come back to the same thing. Minus 16. What is the b value? It's nothing, 0. And lastly, we have 4.5. The answer would be 0.53 or negative 0.53. Yes. I am so sorry. That's my bad. I have not read the question properly. Look at this. H is given. Now over here, let's read the problem because see the H is 0.5, which I did not consider. So that's why my answer is wrong. Let's read this problem and then we will understand why this H is 0.5. Tela was eating lunch when she saw a friend, Jory, approach. The room was crowded and Jory had to lift his tray to avoid obstacles. Suddenly, a glass on Jory's lunch tray tipped and fell off the tray. Tela lunged forward to and managed to catch the glass just before it hit the ground. The height h in feet of the glass t seconds after it was dropped is given over here. If Tela caught the glass when it was 6 inches off the ground, how long was the glass in air before she caught it? So now this is very important. The height is given over here. See the h value, the height is given here. But it didn't fall on the ground. You can understand they have told it was caught before it fell. So now if it was on the ground over here, then it would have been 0 height. H is 0 and directly substitute. That's what I did. But I did not read the problem. Now when you read the problem, you come to know it was 6 inches. 6 inches. And all the other things are given in terms of feet. So don't write 6 inches. Convert 6 inches into feet. All you need to do is 6 divided by how much? 12 inches gives you in terms of feet. That is 0.5 or half. So therefore the height h is 0.5 feet. That's important to know. Now h is 0.5. Now this 0.5 goes to the other side. What happens? It'll be 0 equals negative 16. All you need to do is negative 16t squared plus 4.5 minus 0.5 would be plus 4. This is the thing which we need to substitute. So minus 16 is correct. What we have substituted 0. Here it must be 4. And the answer is half and negative half, plus or minus half. But you can't have negative time. So obviously it was in the air for how long? For half seconds. That's it. So within half second it was falling. But since it did not hit the ground, it was, within half second it was caught basically. So that's how we do it. See, these are all real world problems. Just make sure you read the question properly and understand. See, the last question, I did not read it, I just did it. That was the mistake. Because over there, I forgot to factor in the height as well. I assumed it to be 0. But when I read the problem over here, the last part, they have told it was 6 inches or 0.5 feet off the ground. So please make sure, don't do such mistakes. Make sure you read it thoroughly and then solve it up. And if you're thinking of completing this code because it's mentioned, just remember the shortcut method and follow it. And the quadratic functions, always quadratic equations, whenever one side is equal to 0, just use the calculator mode 53 and easily solve it up. Question number 6 is to graph and analyze polynomial functions. This is a simple one. Basically here they have given the graphs of polynomial function and you need to just state where the real zeros are. So these are the type of questions. Look at this. Wherever it touches the x-axis, that's where the real zero is. So over here state the number of real zeros. How many real zeros can there be for this? It's only one. That's it. There is only one. Over here, let's see all the x-axis points. X-intercept points. Intercept in the sense when the graph touches the x-axis here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 real zeros. Now, if you're thinking, what's just for your extra knowledge, this is a linear graph. It is like y is equal to mx plus b. This is the form. Here, it is a polynomial power 4 quartic graph. X to the power 4 plus, it'll be x to the power 3 plus x to the power 2 plus x plus some number constant. Okay, this is highest 4, so maximum 4 roots may be possible. It might be other than 4, it might be 6 as well, it's possible, yes. And there are 2 imaginary roots and that might be possible. But this more likely looks like x to the power 4. That's the thing. But just look at the intercepts, you will understand. Here then we can see 1, 2, 3 and there is, see, this is not touching. So only 3. There is imaginary roots as well, sorry. This answer is 3 over here. What about this? Only 2. Now here there are at least 2 imaginary roots because over here, since this is the thing, it is x to the power, it's not quadratic, it's more than quadratic, it's x to the power 4. But we can see only 2 real zeros. Why? Because there are 2 imaginary zeros. If you have the equation, we can check it out. But now you can see 2 real zeros will exist wherever it touches the x-axis. Here there were 3 points. And here 1, 2, 3. Here it is 1, 2, 3 again. 3 and 3. And okay, that's it. It's such an easy problem. I hope you're clear with this. Always remember the x-intercept points are the real, where that's the solution. Okay, whenever a graph touches the x-intercept, that's the solution of that graph, not the y-intercept. Okay, it's only the x-intercept. So we are just counting how many x-intercept points are there, and whichever number how many of x-intercepts are there, so many real solutions are there. One last thing, what if this was your question? Then there is no real zeros, okay? If this is your question in the exam, it is not touching the axis at all, it's 0. Don't write 0, there are basically no real zeros. Only imaginary roots are possible for this. So that's the answers. We move on to question number 7, and it is another easy question. It is to add and subtract polynomials or to multiply polynomials. Here we have to simplify. If you look at this question, you can see there is brackets and there is plus, there's minus, everything is included in this. All you need to do is use distributive property and simplification. That's it. See, now multiply this inside. Here also multiply it inside. It's going to be 5 I'll write it in detail now. Phi xy times 2x minus phi xy times y. This is what happens. Plus, now multiply this. It's plus 6y squared into x squared plus 6y squared into 6. Now what happens? 5 times 2 is 10 x squared y minus 5xy squared plus 6x squared y squared plus 6 times 6 is 36y squared. That's it. Now let's see whether there are any same variables over here. No, all are different variables. So this is it. This cannot be simplified further. Yeah. Let's just check the answer. It should be, yeah, that's it. 10x squared y plus minus 5, whatever we got the same answer. Same way, please do it over here. You can see the steps, very easy. But now I will tell you another shortcut method if you have completely forgotten. But see, for this, simplifying, see, this is very easy. There is nothing difficult in this. You have to just multiply it inside, do the distributive property and solve it. But still, if you want, there is a calculator method. Because this is question number 7, you can do this. You need to assume the values. What are the variables here? GH. It doesn't matter how many variables, it's possible. You need to start assuming. I generally assume numbers like 1.5, 2, 2.5, so on. Now, to be easier, you can use a whole number. I will assume G equals 2 and then H equals 3. Avoid 1. It's fine, but sometimes it's more often you might get errors. Now let's take out our calculators. Here we will have to substitute this. But when you're substituting, instead of G, put the number 2. Because you can't solve in calculator when there are two variables. Now I will substitute 1 by 4 as it is everything. But only instead of this G, I have to put 2 squared. Multiply it with, let me just type it as it is, not even changing anything. But wherever G is there, I put the value 2. Plus 12 times H is 3, just put 3 over here, minus 16 into G is again 2 into 3 square. Close the bracket. Now we are done. Press equal to. What is that answer? It is negative 236. What you need to do is write it down over here. This equals negative 236. For these values, these are very important. Now what you must do is, it's a bit long method. See, you will have 4 options over here because it's MCQs. You need to substitute 2 and 3 for all the options and check which of the correct answer gives you negative 236. There can be only one answer. Now we already know the answer here. This is the answer. So I will show you. Substitute G as 2. So we have 2 cube plus 3 into G is again 2 square multiplied by 3, H is 3 minus 4 into G is again 2 cube multiplied by H is 3 square. Okay, this is again negative 236. The other answers cannot be same. If that is same, that's the same answer. It's not possible. So when you do this method, only one answer will give you the same correct thing. Okay, so that's how we can eliminate others. But my suggestion would be just do the distributive properties and solve it by yourself, because that won't take much time over here. Same thing here. You can just start multiplying by yourselves. See, now here, let me just iterate. There are a few formulas as well. Now, what is done over here? FOIL method. This times this and this. Yes, they have done the FOIL method and done. But do you know there is a formula that is A plus B, A minus B? What is this formula? A plus B, A minus B equals A square minus B square. Now here we don't have A minus B, but we have G square. It's fine. G cube minus H, and here we have G cube plus H. This follows the same pattern. So here, what is G? G is G. What is A? Sorry, A value is G cube, right? The whole square minus, what is B? B is H squared. This will be 3 times 2, that is G power 6 minus H squared. This is another simpler version. I would generally prefer doing this. It's not possible everywhere. Over here, it's not possible. Over here, you have to do FOIL. But this is a formula which you remember. If it's called differences of squares. If you remember that, you can easily do it. Now here you just have to do the FOIL, first with second. That is outer terms, then inner terms, and the last terms. Very simple. Now, what about this problem? Various methods. Let's just check what's because there is an identity for this, but in the textbook that is not done. What they have done is they have split these into three. I will show you what they have done. Instead of using the identity, they have taken 2x minus 2y multiplied by 2x minus 2y, again multiplied by 2x minus 2y. Now first solve any two, this, and then you will get an answer. It'll be something 4x square and dot dot dot. So that is multiplied then again with 2x minus 2y, like this, the distributive property, and you will get the answer. That's fine. But have you ever thought about the identity, which is a minus b the whole cube? If you know that formula, let's try over here. The a minus b whole cube identity is given as a cube minus 3a square b plus 3ab square minus b cube. I'll tell you how to remember this. There's an easy way. This is how I remember. First of all, you should know the whole cube and square. They have some patterns. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now here, if it's a plus b the whole square, this is the thing. But if it's a minus b the whole square, then it will be a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Why no minus over here at b squared? Because when it's squared, it will be positive. Only when the degree is odd, 1, 3, 5, it will have minus. Here also, if you look carefully, it is a minus b the whole cube. When it's a cube, but a is positive, so a cube, that's fine. Here minus, why? Because a squared, it's always positive, but b is positive, power 1. So minus will sustain. Here it is squared, so you will have positive, whereas over here b cube, right? So it will be minus. Odd powers will have minus. So here you must focus on b, and this is power 1, so it's minus, and this one also minus. I hope that's okay. So now let me write it again. A cube minus 3a square b plus 3ab square minus b cube. So here what is a? A is 2x. What is b? B is 2y. So all you have to do is write 2x the whole cube minus, what is 3 is a constant. Again, a is 2x square times 2y plus 3 into 2x multiplied by 2y the whole square minus, here the last one is minus 2y the whole cube. All you need to do is substitute this. 2 to the power 3 is 8, is 8x cube minus, here 2 square is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 3 is 24, yeah. 24x square y plus 3 times 2 is 6, 2 square is 4, 4 times 6 is 24, xy square minus 8y cube. This would be the final answer. Let's just check. Yes, that's the answer, right? 2x cube minus 24x square y plus 24xy square minus 8y cube. So you can see how much time and space you can save, right? Just 3 lines. Look at this, all these things. So this is why these formulas, these identities are very, very helpful. This is the a minus b the whole cube formula. Same way over here also, you can use the same identity and you'll get the answer easily. Or you can do the long method. Or the other method is the calculator method, which I told you a while ago. Let us assume n, there's only 1 over here, n. Let's assume n to be 2. So, write in bracket 4 into 2 minus 5 the whole cube. What is the answer? 27. This also must be 27 if you substitute n as 2. Let's try. 64 times 2 cube, 2 to the power 3, minus 240 times 2 square plus 300 times 2 minus 125. What's the answer? It's 27. That's it. Only one option will give you the same answer, all the others won't. And please do try these by yourselves and then finally check for the answers. Here and the last one here also. Over here we have to just use distributive property, or you can use the calculator method. You will get the same answer. And over here the steps are there. The final answer is very simplified, 7x minus 2y. That's the end of this topic. Just be careful when you're multiplying the terms. Multiply it throughout. Be careful with the sign. And if you can remember the identities, do remember the identities and easily solve them. If you cannot remember anything, then try the calculator method. Try all the 4 options, and whichever matches with the question, the value which matches with the question will be the correct answer. Question number 8 is about Pascal's theorem. It is to expand powers of binomials by using Pascal's triangle and the binomial theorem. Now here let's look into the problems. First of all, let's learn a bit of Pascal's theorem. I hope you remember this sequences. Pascal's theorem is easy to write. Look here, what's happening? All the ends of this, the outer side of a triangle, over here, both the two vertical slanted sides are having 1s. And the triangle continues. Over here, it starts with 1. The first row is only with 1, 1. But as you can see, this next block here, see the above term. How many are there? Only one term. Add that up. It's 1. So you always add 1, 1, 1 here because it's only one term above it. But here for this, there are 2 terms over here. 1 and 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Whereas for this again, it's only 1. But now look at this. Not the last term, but the other terms. Last term will be the same. Sorry. Okay. 3 over here is having 1 and 2. So therefore you write 3, it's 1 plus 2. Now 2 plus 1 makes 3. How about this one? 3 plus 3 makes 6, 3 plus 1 makes 4, 3 plus 1 makes 4. 4 and 1 is 5, 6 and 4 is 10, and so on. That's how we get this table. It's very easy, the pattern. I'm sure you know this by now. And over here, if imagine you want to write for the third row, that would be, see, the first one is x to the power x plus, it's binomial, it must be 2 terms, x to the power 0. Okay, the first row means x plus y the whole power 1, x plus y the whole squared. We know the formula of x plus y the whole square. What is it? X squared plus 2xy plus y squared, isn't it? Look here, this tells the coefficients 1x squared, 2x times y, and 1y squared. Now here, this one, the coefficients will be 1, 3, 3, 1. If we start solving, what is the degree over here? 3, right? It's x plus y the whole cube. So you must write 1x cube. You start with cube. Plus, here, next one, what happens is it's 3. The coefficient is 3. Okay, but what about the other variables? This reduces by 1. 3 means this becomes 2 and you start originating y. Plus, now this reduces by 1, so it will be x and this will be squared. So it's again like this. Plus 1 into y cube only. You keep on increasing this. Let's go to the last one over here, which is that 6th row, right? It is basically x plus y the whole power 6. This coefficient is 1. What does that 1 signify? It is the first term. The first term, x raised to 6, that's it. Plus, now 6, this reduces by 1, it becomes x power 5. Then the y term, it starts generating now. Y over here, y is 0. Technically it's 0, okay? So we don't write it. Y to the power 0 is 1, so we don't write it. It will be the same thing. Now this is y power 1 plus 15. x5 minus 1 is x power 4, and y increase the power from 1, it becomes 2. Plus 20, x3, y3, y power 3. Plus 15, x squared, y to the power 4. Plus 6, x power 1, y power 5. And lastly, we have 1. X is dissolved because it's 0. It's 1 basically. And then you have 6. This is the answer. Now here there is not there, but the previous one you can see over here, x to the power 5, same pattern follows. You can do it by yourselves. You can practice this. Now, if you know that thing, here you can just use that same thing. But see, over they have mentioned use Pascal's triangle everywhere. So you can just use the same concept and easily expand it. Okay. Now we hear this. If you know the formula for this, x minus or a minus b the whole cube, we have done it a while ago. So it would be x cube minus. Okay, I'll tell you why it's minus. If you're using Pascal's triangle, these are the coefficients. Okay, it's 1, 3, 3, 1. You start with what? This term. X highest degree, that is 3. Y is not there. Y is how much? Y is power 0. Okay. Sorry, it's minus y to the power 0. Okay. That is 1. So we just don't write it. When it's 0, anything power 0, minus or plus, it just becomes 1. Now, don't write, we have to write plus only. Let's see over here. Next term will be this x, reduce it by 1. So it will be 2. What about this y? It's negative y. This b is negative y. The second term, sorry. It'll be minus 1 to the power 1. Plus, here we will have x only. And this minus y power 2. Plus, again, minus y to the power 3. Now, let's simplify this further. It'll be x cubed plus. Sorry, I should not write plus. Let's see the sign. Y to the power 1 will be minus y. Minus y to the power 1 will be minus y itself. So this minus sign multiplied with plus will become minus, and therefore we will have 3x squared y. And over here this minus y is all squared. So you basically multiply minus y into minus y, it becomes plus y squared. Whenever you have squared, the y negative dissolves, it goes off. So here it will be plus 3xy squared. So it's power 2. It will be always plus. Lastly, it's minus x cube. Why? Because minus the whole cube is minus y multiplied by minus y multiplied by minus y. Here when you multiply two minuses, you'll be plus y multiplied by minus y. It'll be it'll be y squared. Now when you multiply this, it'll be minus y cube. So whenever it's odd power 3, 5, 7, 9 or power 1, it's always minus will remain. Only when it is even power like 2, 4, 6, the negative sign cancels and it will always be positive. So this is the power. This is how the explanation to write in Pascal's triangle if there is a negative. But if you know the formula, it's very simple. It's x cubed minus 3x squared y plus 3xy squared minus y cubed. If you know this by heart, just use this. That's the substitution. Even over here, you can use the calculator method. Assume x to be 2 and y to be 3. And now you can solve this up. What will be the answer over here? You can put in the calculator. It will be 2 minus 3 the whole cube. That is minus 1 the whole cube. That's equal to minus 1. Now here also substitute the same thing. 2 cube minus 3 into 2 square into y is how much? Considered to be 3 plus 3 times 2 into 3 the whole square minus, lastly we have 3 the whole cube. Now 2 cube is, you can just put this in calculator and try because it'll just save your time as well. But you need to do for all the options. Now let's take our calculators. Here you just substitute this 2 cube minus 3 into 2 square into 3 plus 3 into 2 into 3 square, and lastly we have minus 3 cube. It's minus 1. Over here also we found minus 1. This matches. All the other answers will not match, so you can disregard them. This is how we solve Pascal's triangle problem. Here, same thing. You can just see the Pascal's triangle and find what is the coefficients. It's 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. And then you can easily type it out. Or you can use assume values for A and B and then also solve. You'll get the same answer. Here also, the coefficients are same, but the signs over here will vary. Wherever h is odd power will have negative sign. Where it's even, it will be positive. Say for odd power, it will be, say, g power 4 minus, this will remain 4g cube, h, because it's odd power, there's minus. Plus over here it's even powers, positive, minus, and lastly positive. Please do try to solve by yourselves and then check for the answers. They are very easy. So that's it. As it goes bigger, it'll just take more time. If you have forgotten the Pascal's triangle, just do the Pascal's triangle first. How do you do it over here? You can just do 1, 1, 1, and then 1, 2, 1, and then 1, 3, 3, 1, and then again 1, 4, 6, 4, 1, and then you can do it again and again. 10, 10, 5, 1, and it goes on. Now this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we need 6, so there is one more. So it'll be 1, 5 plus 1 is 6, 15, 20, 15, 6, 1. So it should be 1, 6, 15, 20, 15, 6, 1. Yes, that's the coefficients. Once you know the coefficients, you know the way to write it. We have done at the beginning of the video. So just follow that pattern and do it. If it's 8, it's just longer. It'll just take you more time. But I'm sure they won't give you a huge number. It'll be a reasonable answer. So make sure you solve it up. And that's the end of this particular question. Please do practice more problems and be thorough with the triangle. If you can remember the formulas, please remember the identities. It will save a lot of time. And if you can't remember anything, then please do go with the calculator method. Try all the 4 options and then you'll get the correct answer. The question 9 is to solve polynomial equations by factoring. Here you have problems like this. It is not the whole cube formula which we will be using over here. It is differences of cubes, okay, or the sum of cubes. Now we will see that in a while, but over here you need to remember this a cube minus b cube formula or a cube plus b cube formula. These are given by, see, if it's minus, you need to write a minus b first. If it's plus, it'll be a plus b. Then the other term will be a squared. If this is minus already done, then it will be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Here, only plus is there, so you should have a minus inside this, plus b squared. Okay, this would be the formulas. Now, how to get this into whole cube? We know that 8 can be written as 2 cube. You can just use your calculator, use cube root option and press 8, your answer is 2. So this can be written as 2c the whole cube minus this can be written as 3d the whole cube. Why? 3 cube is 27 and 2 cube is 8. Now I can apply this formula over here. A cube minus b cube. So it will be 2c minus 3d, whatever is inside. Multiply it with what? The first term square, 2c the whole square, plus 2 times 2c times 3d plus 3d the whole square. Okay, this entire thing. Now let's rearrange and write it. It's simplify, expand them. What you can do, it'll be 4c square plus 4 times 3 is 12 cd plus 9d square. This would be the answer. I think so. You can stop here. You do not need to do factoring, simplifying further. Yeah, that's the answer. See, they have not done it. Okay, what did I do wrong here? Oh, I'm so sorry. I've written the formulas wrong. Okay, I don't know how I wrote that. Always remember the formula is not 2ab, it's just ab. Okay, anyways, I just remembered it now. It's always ab. Okay, when I saw it just now, here it will not be, this 2 is not there. It's just 2 times 3, it's 6. Okay, over here. So all the other parts are correct. It's just the formula which I had written was wrong. So these are the formulas. I just confused it in my mind and wrote 2ab. So that's the answer. That's it. Even in the next problem, you can try to do the same formula, but it's plus the second formula. Look here, how can you do is, you need to have cube. So yes, this is fine. And over here, I know 64 can be written as cube. Why? 4 cube is 64. Or you can just put this in the calculator, you will get 4. I'll show you how to do it in the calculator. We need our calculators now. All you do is, see, press shift and this symbol, it will be cube root. 64, the answer is 4. So now the problem is this x. See over here, x is power 4. It's not helpful. So what you do is take a common term of x. What remains is 64x cube, and here you're just remaining with y cube. Now you can rearrange this x into, this is what 64 is, 4x the whole cube plus y cube. Now you can use the formula we had written a while ago. It is 4x plus y the whole, that's one term, sorry. And then the other term is what? 4x the whole square, not cube, it's the square, so it is 16x squared plus, multiply these two terms, AB, that is 4xy, and lastly y squared. This is the answer. You can multiply the x inside, that's fine. This will be the answer. See, it's x into 4x plus y. It's 16x squared. Now, okay, I have done a major mistake. I forgot to write this is minus in the formula which I had written a while ago. I'd written, right, a cube minus b cube equals a plus, sorry, it's plus, right, a plus b, and then we have a squared minus ab plus b squared. Remember, if it's plus, we have inside minus. If it was minus, outside will be, this will be minus and this will be plus. So that's it. That's how we write the answers. Now here, if you're thinking, oh, this is very confusing, then you can also do the calculator method. It is possible. All you need to do is basically assume values for a and b. A can be 2, b can be 3, and then substitute. I will tell you how to do it in calculator again. I'll assume a value to be 2. Okay, 2 to the power 8 minus 2 square multiplied with b, I'll take it as 3 to the power 6. What's the answer? Minus 2660. Now here I should get the same answer. Let's do it. 2 squared multiplied with, that's 2 minus 3, multiplied again with 2 squared minus, sorry, plus 2 times 3 plus 3 squared, close the bracket, again bracket, 2 plus 3, close the bracket, and now lastly we have 2 squared minus 2 times 3 plus 3 squared. I hope I have substituted everything correct. Yes, it's correctly substituted. The answer was same, 2660. This is one way, but one other way to solve it. But here you need to do it for all the 4 options. Whichever gives you the same answer is the correct answer. That's how we do it. Now, what is this prime? Let's see, this can be factored again. Now, sometimes, okay, this is a prime. Now, this cannot be simplified. Look here. This phi is a prime number, so you can't write it in terms of, any cube or anything. This is just not possible to be solved, so we call it prime. There's no simplification. So now, whenever you do this, do now assume x and y value in the calculator, I'm telling. Otherwise, it's over here simple, because there's no way you can factor this out, and therefore, this is also prime, because this 2 cannot be factored out. You can't simplify this using a formula. Why? Because this can't be written as 2 the whole cube or anything. No. If it was 8, yes, you can write 2y the whole cube. But this, no, it cannot be factored. Now, in such cases, if you're doing calculator method, assume values for both and then check the answers. 3 answers will give you the wrong. It won't match with this. Then that means it's prime. So your option must be the prime, and then other 3 options won't match, then it is called prime. Okay. So when you try every way, you won't match. So select the answer as prime. But otherwise, now over here, you can see there is a common x, x, y, y, x, y. So you can remove this. See, there are plenty ways to solve this. I'll just do one method here. So what I would do is, I would just group all the x terms together and y terms separately. So gx squared minus 3hx squared plus 6fx squared minus 6fy squared minus gy squared plus 3hy squared. Now what happens? Take x squared common out. x squared is removed outside, you're remaining with g minus 3h plus 6f. And over here, remove, what I would do is I would remove minus y square out. So you're remaining with, I will write g first because I have GHF, right? It'll be plus g, and whereas it'll be minus 3h because plus becomes minus, and lastly we will have plus 6f. Now these two, look at this. I can remove this and this common out. Why? Because if I assume, say, g minus 3h plus 6f to be a, let's just assume this factor to be a. Then I'll rearrange this and write x squared a minus y square a. Don't you agree? Now I can remove this out, right? A can be removed out. You're remaining with x squared minus y squared. That's what happened over here. So same thing, what I'll do is I'll remove this g minus 3h plus 6f out, and you're remaining with x squared minus y squared. See, this is the thing. A is what? G minus all that terms. Now you can still simplify this further because I can see there is some of difference of squares. That is, a square minus b square is given as a plus b, a minus b. I can use the same thing over here. It can be written as x plus y, x minus y. This is the simplified version. I don't think so you can simplify further. Yes, that's the answer. They have just written these two terms first. Say x plus y, x minus y. And what was these? Now here they have written FGH. It's fine. I've written GHF. This is the answer. As long as the terms are correct, that's. Even over here, you can do this by calculator, but it's just that you have so many things to assume. X value must be assumed. Y, G, H, F, all these values must be assumed, and then you can solve it. And same thing over here, you can either take a common out. It's better to take x, all x terms together, y terms together, and simplify, and then you will get the answer. Over here, this is the answer. Now this cannot be factored further because this is prime. Okay, so you just leave it over here and this one. Please do try practicing the other problems by yourselves. You can see all the answers are there. If you're doing some other method, you can skip some steps also. Try whichever method you're comfortable, just follow that. Even over here, this is the solution. And that's basically it for this particular question. Please make sure you solve more problems and be thorough with them. Moving on to the question number 10. Here we have to find a lot. It's a lot. We can go one by one. First, we need to understand how many roots are there from the graph. How many types of roots are there. We also have to find the zeros, and we have to try to write the equation. Let's look into the questions. Here they have given a graph. How can we represent this in terms of equation? We cannot be 100% accurate, but we can get an approximate answer. Now, look carefully. What are the solutions? That's over here and this point, right? It's at x equals minus 3. 1, 2, 3, and x equals 2, isn't it? So let's write in terms of factors. It'll be x minus 3, x equals minus 3. When minus 3 goes to the other side, it'll be x plus 3. Here it'll be x minus 2 equal. Now solve this up. It'll be x squared, FOIL method, and this. X squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 6. It'll be x squared plus x minus 6. This is the equation. That's it. So wait a minute. We have to write the other things as well. Let's see how many roots are there. 2 roots. There are 2 real roots. So that's it. The degree must be at least okay. This is important. Now, if there are 2 solutions, the degree can be more than this or at least 2, because there are a number of 2 solutions. And now here they have told where does it cross? X crosses the x-axis at minus 3 and 2. So these are the factors what we wrote, and we simplify those factors and get this equation. This is an approximate representation of the graph. It can be, there might be some variables over here like constants like 2 and 2x. It might be, but this is an approximate answer. So the polynomial could be represented by this graph or something else as well. Now here, how do we do it? we have three answers. If you look over here, three times the graph passes by. So the first one would be, I'll directly write in terms of factors here. X equals minus 3 will be x plus 2. Here it's x equals 1, it will be x minus 1. And lastly, we have x minus 3. It's up to you to choose where you want to multiply. I will just do minus and minus first, like this, and we will have x squared minus 3x minus x plus 3. So you will be remaining with x squared minus 4x plus 3. Now this has to be multiplied with this x plus 2. How would you do it? Multiply it this, and this number with all the three terms. It'll be x cubed minus 4x squared plus 3x plus 2x squared minus 8x. Yeah, I'm right. I'm doing it right over here. Plus 6. Now simplify how much you can. X cubed. This can be simplified to minus 2x squared minus 5x, and lastly plus 6. So this is the answer. This is the approximate answer. Okay, this graph can be represented by this over here. Same way, please do try the other problems. You can tell how many roots are there, solutions. There are three solutions, so the degree must be at least 3 or higher. At least means it should be 3 or more. And these are the factors, and simplify. Same thing here, there are 4. It just goes lengthier. When you solve this, there are 4 factors. Now here, this is important. What they have done is they have used the identity a plus b, a minus b. Directly you got x squared minus 1 square, or 1, and over here you have just done the FOIL method, x squared minus 6x plus 8. Now again you have to just do that, multiplying and then solving it out. I hope that's clear. Just do from here, multiply everywhere, from this number multiply, and then you must get this answer. Same thing. Oh, that's it. So it's very simple and easy. So make sure you understand the number of solutions. The degree must be then at least the number of solutions. 4 times it passes the x-axis. That means there must be at least degree 4. Write the factors out and multiply, and you'll get the answers. Please try practicing more and more problems. You'll be more thorough and you'll find this topic easy. Question number 11 is another easy one. It is to find sums, difference, products, and quotient of functions. Now, if you look over here, they will specify you what is f of x, g of x, and you have to do all these following operations. Let's do a problem over here. They're all simple and straightforward. The same method is followed. Here, this one given as it's f plus g of x. What does this mean exactly? It means it's f of x plus g of x. That's it. Now say for example we have f minus g of x. This is the function f of x minus the function g of x. The first one is over here first, minus the second function. Same thing with f dot of g of x means you're multiplying these two, f of x multiplied with g of x. And lastly, we have f by g of whole x. Now here, this is f of x divided by g of x. This is it. This is how we understand these functions. Now, with this knowledge, we will start solving the first one. Here, it would be 2x, f of x, plus minus 4x plus 5. That would be 2x minus 4x plus 5, or it will be minus 2x plus 5. That's it. Same thing can be done for minus. It will be 2x minus f of x plus 5. Just this plus becomes minus. That will be 2x plus 4x. Why? Minus times minus is plus, and minus 5. That is 6x minus 5. Multiplication is by FOIL method. Over here, just distributive property. It will be 2x times minus 4x plus 5. Multiply this 2x inside. It will be minus 8x squared plus 10x. And lastly, we have division. That is 2x divided by 4x plus 5. That's the answers. Let's just check the answers. It's minus 2x plus 5, the first one. Yes, and then we got 6x minus 5. And for multiplication, we got minus 8x squared plus 10x. And lastly, for division, we have this. Okay, this is fine. 2x divided by minus 4x plus 5. But what is this? X cannot be equal to this number. Now, what is anything divided by 0? You can't divide any number, say x divided by 0 is not possible, it's undefined. Because when you divide anything by 0, it will be an extremely large number, it goes up till infinity. It's not possible, so it's undefined value. Now here in the denominator minus 4x plus 5, this cannot be equal to 0, okay, this entire term. So let's solve this. Let's take 4x to the other side, it will be positive, so it will be 5 cannot be equal to 4x, or take 4 to the other side, it will be 5 by 4 is not equal to 4x, or x cannot be equal to 4x, 5 by 4, sorry. This is what is mentioned. This will make the denominator undefined, so therefore whatever is in the denominator, make it equal to 0, solve, and that must be an excluded value. This is how we solve it up. Same thing over here. I'll just do the last division part. Over here it will be x minus 1 divided by 5x minus 2. Here you should just equate 5x minus 2 equals 0 and solve. 5x equals 2, x equals 2 by 5. This is the excluded value. X cannot be equal to 2 by 5. I just put equal to and solved, and then I'm telling the value of x when it's equal to 2 by 5 cannot be possible over here in the denominator. See over here, this adding is very straightforward, and subtracting. We can multiply as well, and then look here, it is x minus 1 divided by 5x minus 2, but x does not be equal to 2 by 5. Please do the other problems over here. All the detailed solutions are available, and do check your answers by solving them by yourselves. Over here it will be positive 7 by 2. If you want this presentation where all the solutions are mentioned, just click on the description and you can find the link where you can download the presentation. Here it's multiplication, and this is the answer. Over here it's very straightforward. Take 5 to the other side. First equate this equal to 0. 5 to the other side is x equals to 5. So x value couldn't be equal to 5 over there. And now over here we have similarly just adding, subtracting, and then multiplying. Lastly, we're dividing. For division, we just write it like that. That's it. And whatever is the denominator. Now, what about this here? It's a quadratic, so you need to use your calculator and solve. Let's take our calculator. Now you can press mod phi 3. That is quadratics. Now you solve it. 2, 3, and minus 5. What are the x values? When x is equal to 1 and x is equal to negative 5 by 2, this will be undefined. So those two values must be excluded. X cannot be equal to 1 over there, and it cannot be equal to negative 5 by 2. That's it. Same way, please do solve this problem. Over here it's adding, which is very easy. And then subtracting is also easy. Multiplication is by the rules. Here, please, first term with first term. Please remember this. Don't get confused. And then lastly, division is just writing it out. And whatever is the denominator, please exclude that value. It's just by mod phi 3, you can put this denominator over here and solve it up. That's the end of this particular question, which is a very easy one. Please do solve by yourself and then check for the answers. Once you're thorough with few of the questions, then you can definitely easily solve it in your exam. The question number 12 is to find inverses of relations. Inverse, basically, there is a rule for inverse functions. I will write down the rule and then I will tell you about the domain and inverse and everything about that. First thing, this is a linear function. It's very easy. Most important thing you must understand is inverse means x becomes y, or y becomes x. Similarly, if you have, say, xy coordinate pair, the inverse function will be yx. Now say you have 2 and minus 3. It becomes minus 3 and 2. But the coordinate pair over here is x1, y1, x2, y2. But this is inverse. You just flip it out. X becomes y, y becomes x. You can see over here, this is about inverse. Now the rule for finding the inverse relation is very simple. As long as you have f of x, just make it y equals x plus 2. This is step 1. Next step is swap these x and y. Instead of y, you should write x, and instead of x, you should write y plus 2. Now, this y is not f of x y, it is the inverse because you swapped it. Now, solve for y. Take this minus 2 to the other side. It will be x minus 2 equals y. Now, here, y is equal to x minus 2, right? But this y is f inverse. F power minus 1, x is x minus 2. This is the answer here. Now they have told to graph, so you can see x minus 2 is the answer. How do you graph is basically, what is the graph of x plus 2? You know, it'll be just at, see now if this is the x coordinate, plus 2 is somewhere over here, it'll be like this since x is 45 degrees. Now inverse is x minus 2, it'll just be at minus 2. Always they are reflected along xy line. Okay, if this is y equals x line, it's reflected along that, the inverse functions. Even now exponential and log functions are called inverse functions because they are reflected along this line. Now you can see it's something like this. Let me just clear this. This is the answer, f of x. This is f inverse of x. That's the thing. Now over here, the domain and range is all real numbers, so it doesn't make a difference. Only when it's quadratic, it's a little different. We will talk about it in a while. Now, how do you find this? It's the same concept, same thing. Now, this is going to be much easier because I'll just tell you. If you understand one concept, now inverse means if I have phi x, what is the inverse of multiplication? It's division. 1 by phi x will be the answer. That's the inverse, right? Directly you can write it'll be 1 by phi x. That's the inverse function. Or even if you do the same method, swap it, it'll be the same thing. And now you can graph it up. This will be the answers, okay? Even over here, it's again a linear function. It's again same. Please look into the problem, do it in detail, and then you can see. Now, graph is very simple. Again, it's all real numbers, range and domain. We will look into now this is again a linear function. What you can do is you can just divide this right now by both the terms by distributive property, or you can keep it like that and then solve as well. It's up to you. Now over here, if you keep it divided by 3 as a whole, it will be y equals x minus 4 by 3, and then you swap this. This becomes x equals y minus 4 by 3. Now take the 3 to the other side, it will be 3x equals y minus 4, 3x plus 4 equals f inverse of x. So you can directly write this as well. This will be the answer, 3x plus 4. That is the inverse function. You can see 3x plus 4. Then graph it up. This is again same. Please do this. Go through the solution. Everything is in detail because I want to show you something that is in square. Now this is again another easy problem, direct one. And we will look over here. Again, it's straightforward problem. You can just go through this by yourselves. Nothing much, no difference. Here also, this is the answer over here. Here we have a square function, that is phi x squared. Now, if you know the basics of the graph, you would know the square function will be something like this, right? Phi, it'll be some thin line over here. It'll be narrow. And let's do the inverse of this. Phi x squared, so it is y equals phi x squared. Now swap this x and y, it will be x is equal to phi y squared. Then take the phi to the other side, it will be x by phi is equal to y squared. Take square root, x by phi equals y, and that is basically the answer. F inverse of x is equal to square root x by phi. This is the answer. Now, what is the square root function? Now, this, when you take a square root, it's plus or minus, plus or minus. You know, a square root function is only like this. This is plus square root x by phi. But there are two possible answers. It can be also be minus square root x by phi, isn't it? Now, that is over here. Two answers, so therefore you get like this, and it is always reflected along the xy, right? Y is equal to x line. See, that's the thing. Now we need to do something called restricting the domain for linear functions. That is no problem at all. But look here, this is square root function from here, right? Now, what is restricting domain basically? You know, x and y swap, isn't it? X and y swap for an inverse function. There is a relationship in that. X is domain, y is range. Now look at the range possible, the range of this particular answer. What is it? It will be from 0 to infinity. So you must always consider when this domain is restricted from, it's a big bracket, 0 comma infinity, then we will get this positive answer. Why? Because what is the range over here? This domain of 0 comma infinity, then the range of this will be 0 comma infinity itself, right? So these both are related. But whereas if you restrict it from minus infinity comma 0, then what happens? Sorry, this is small and this is big. Then what will be the range of the square root function? It will be same thing, minus infinity comma 0, right? Look over here, this part, my 0 comma minus infinity just goes from here, isn't it? But we always tell the lower like this, minus infinity. That's when it's minus. This is called restricted domain. Let's just look over here. You can see the answer we got was square root square root x by 5. It's the same thing. It's plus or minus. There are two cases. The first case, when is it negative? When we had written, when it was minus infinity comma 0, this is big bracket, I'm sorry again. Whenever there is 0, that's the included value, so it's big bracket. Okay. Now that is the thing. Here, f inverse of x is negative root 5x by 5 when the domain of the given function f of x is restricted from minus infinity to 0. Whereas if you restrict it from 0 to infinity, it's always written lower to bigger value, lower to bigger value. 0 to infinity, it will be positive. That's the concept. And this is the graph. But here this is when it's restricted, the first one minus infinity, minus root x, and the second one. Same thing can be done over here. Again, another square function. Find the inverse function, that is basically by writing y equals x squared plus 4, swap it, x becomes x equals y squared plus 4, take 4 to the other side, x minus 4 equals y squared. I'll write y squared first equals x minus 4, take the square root on both the sides. You will have y equals plus or minus square root x minus 4. This is equal to f inverse of x minus a. This is the thing, f inverse value. Now then, what is the domain over here? Domain is all real numbers from minus infinity to infinity. This domain needs to be restricted. Now here you need to restrict this from till 0. We have done the same thing, right? When you restricted all the positive values, it's one thing, negative values is one more thing. Let's look at the graph over here. Now what is the range over here? From 0 to infinity, when it's positive, plus or minus. So if I take the positive quantity of this, sorry, this is the one, positive quantity, it will be above. Sorry, it's above. If it's minus, it will come below. This is about restricting the domain. I hope this is clear. It's about restricting, that's it. And that's the end of this particular problem. Just make sure if it's quadratic, just be careful. Otherwise, if it's linear, it's very simple. Directly do the formula and you can easily graph it as well. You know linear graphing. So crude graph is enough. But if it's quadratic, just be very careful and make sure you understand this thoroughly and then solve it and restrict the domain. The question number 13 is to simplify expressions in exponential and radical form and simplify radical expressions. Here we can do a shortcut calculator method. I will tell you that first and then, wait, first let's see how to simplify this. Here what happens is you have cube root, isn't it? You have to multiply this cube root throughout, in the sense it will be cube root 27. Here it will be b to the power 8, cube root would be, this is division, right? Division divided by 3. C 12 divided by 3. Cube root means, cube root x is what exactly? It is x to the power 1/3. So divided by 3. That's what. Now here you can easily write it out. The cube root 3 is 3. 3 is 3 to the power 3 is 27. So over here it will be 6, b to the power 6, c to the power 4. This is the answer. You can directly check the answer. That's the answer. It's a direct question and calculator. I mean, direct question, you will have options. Now, that's why we can use the calculator method as well. In your calculator, all you need to do is assume values for the variable. I will assume b to be 2 and c to be 3. Then, all you need to do is substitute. This is shift. After pressing shift, press this symbol, you will get cube root. 27 multiplied by b is 2 to the power 18 and c is multiplied by c is 3 to the power 12. Now the answer is 1552. Same thing you must get over here. Let's check. 3 into b is 2 to the power 6 and c is 3 to the power 4. The answer is 1552. That's the answer. So this is how we solve it. Now, whenever there is an even power, it's nothing, that means it's a square root. Here you can see it is even power. What happens is when you solve this up, you are getting cube, right? So this means this is a square root of power 6. So, but when you solve this up, you're getting power 3. Now, cube root can be positive or negative. The domain is all possible numbers. Whereas, what is the domain of this square root? It's only from greater than or equal to 0. So this will contradict over here. If at all this is a negative number, then this does not exist. It is wrong, isn't it? Because the domain over here, x can only be greater than this entire term, whatever is inside the square root, can only be greater than or equal to 0. Over here, it can be any real number. So that's why we must write this modulus symbol. Modulus means whatever is this answer must be non-negative. Because we had a square root, that means whatever is inside cannot be negative. The domain must be restricted. That's why, see, outside, this minus sign is outside, leave it as it is. Even over here, it is power 4. We are taking root of 4th power. So you're getting power 1. 1 is again odd. So this can be negative. So we have to restrict it by using modulus symbol. Wherever you're having odd answers. If it's an even power, that's fine. This is all even power, that means it's fine. It will be always positive. But only when it's odd, we have to do that. Now, the same thing applies over here. Over here, there is all even power. Now, what happens over here is, see, the whole power 6. This doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the whole is power 6. This is an even power, so it doesn't matter what, it will be positive. Here it is odd power at the out, so we have to use modulus symbol. Same concept. But you can even try using the calculator, you'll get the same answer, no problem at all. And just make sure you assume values which are positive, 2 and 3, and you can try it. Now here what happens when you simplify, this is fine. You will get power 2, but this is power 3 odd. So only for this, restrict it to be from negative. It should be always positive. So you put only modulus over there. And same way, all these are same thing. But now you can see there is minus sign inside the square root. That is fine. Just take out that root of -1. See what happens is, here you are splitting this by root of -1 and then entirely 64 y to the power 8 z to the power 6. This is power 2, okay, over here. Root 2. Root means, square root means 2. This is I. Now you should take square root of 64, y 8 by 2, z 6 by 2, and now simplify it. Here I remains, what is root of 64? It's 8, y to the power 4, but z to the power 3. Now let's write 8i, the constant first, then I, y to the power 4, but restrict z to the power 3 only to be positive. That's it. Because z3 can be negative as well, which is not possible. So that's the thing. And these are again the same type. You can easily solve it by yourself. Now this is simplifying exponents. Whenever the same base you're multiplied by powers, you add it up. Whereas if your power to the power, you multiply it, but over here it's same base, so you add it up over here. That's it. Adding it up. Over here now you multiply the powers. This will be multiplied to each other. Here you're just writing 1 divided by, wait, we are doing this over here. See, this is an important thing. I'll tell you over here because it's much easier. This one, whatever is negative power, you must write 1 divided by, it will be positive power. That's the concept. So over here, the same thing you're doing. Now here, what happens is, first of all, this one, you multiply it with each other. Don't go to take 1 divided by, no. Multiply the powers. Minus and minus become plus. The answer is 3 by 20 over here. That's the concept. So that's how we do it over here. And we can see the other. This is again just what you do is 1 divided by w to the power 7 by 8. That's it. 1 divided by. Okay, 1 divided by. Okay, what they are doing over here is, they see 1 divided by 7 by 8 is correct. Now you can simplify this. 1 divided by 7 by 8, right? You're trying to make this power 1, in the sense multiply and divide by 1/8, because you know the denominator, the same base, it will add up. So what happens when you multiply and divide over here? It basically becomes 7/8 plus 1/8. It will become 8 by 8. That's 1. And up in the numerator, only 1 by 8 remains. Now, if you solve this up in the sense, now what do you do when you have numerator and denominator? You can just do 1 by 8 minus the denominator. So it will be the same thing, negative 7 by 8 itself. Okay? So this is the concept behind this. And this, if you're getting confused, just use a random arbitrary value, say 2 power 2 so much, and over your answer also must match. Because these are in options, it's very easy. Make sure you put a value, match, find the answer, and then check all the 4 options with the same value. If you're assuming w to be 2, do the same thing for all the options. One answer only will match the correct answer. That will be your final answer. That's the shortcut method. We have done that in the previous questions as well. Now this one again over here, same concept. You can split these terms. You can do it directly, you don't need to, take, okay. Now this one, 72, just take it in calculator. You'll get the answer, 6 root 2. And what about 8? 8 by 2 is 4. So, sorry, 8 by 4 will be, 8 by 2 will be 4. So 8 to the power 4. Now b is to the power 5. So we know if we split b to the power 5, in the sense, we write it like this, b power 4 into b power 1, it's 5. Now this, if you take square root, will be b square. Only this can be restricted, okay? Now over here, you're not basically solving, you're just writing it like that. Inside the square root, you don't need to restrict it. Why? Because it's inside square root, it cannot be negative. So that's why I'm not restricting it, okay? So I'll just make this one thing clear. Over here, you add b to the power 4 and b, right? You're taking square root. So what happens? B to the square. This is inside the square root only. You're not taking it out, okay? That's what it is. And very much confused, just put a as 2, b as 3, and just solve this and check your answer whether it's correct or no. Same thing over here. Now you're restricting this y because you got 7 outside and b, both are odd numbers. Inside the square root, doesn't matter, it will be only positive. And same concept over here. Please do these by yourselves and then check for the answers. Even over here, it's the same concept. Only remember, when there's odd powers outside the square root, make sure you put a modulus sign showing that it cannot be negative. And over here as well, same concept over here, and it's just many terms. Now if it's too many terms, you can just do the shortcut method. Assume h value, f value. Now even the same assumption, put it over here. The answers, whatever you get over here in calculator, must match this answer. Only then that's correct. If it does not match, that's the wrong option. Go to the next option and solve. Like check for the equal answers. Same thing over here. And that's the end of this particular topic. Please try to understand some basic thing. Whenever it's square root, there is nothing, it's power 2. The root of other things will be mentioned. So understand how the exponent works, and then this will be very easy. Question number 14 is about growth and decay function, exponential growth and decay functions. You can see over here they have given you different equations. And you have to basically tell which represents exponential growth and exponential decay. So looking at the question, how would you tell it? It's very simple. Now I'll just write a standard form first. Y equals ABX. The thing is, if b, this value b, which has the exponent x, if it is greater than 1, it's growth. But if b is less than 1 but greater than 0, it must be within this range, it can't be less than 0, then it is a decay function. That's it. Now, here you can see 7 greater than 1. 5 by 4 is 1.25 greater than 1. These are growth functions. 2 by thirds is 0.666. It's a decay function because it's less than 1, but it is greater than 0. It must be greater than 0, okay? Whatever is the base over here. And 0.999, it's again a decay function because it's less than 1. Even 0.1 less, it's still less. So this is the thing. But now I just want to ask, make you think over here. What if y equals, we have, say f of x equals 4 times 0.5x. What is this? You multiply 4 into 0.5 and write 2 to the power x? This is wrong. Look, what is exponential? Only this part. What is having the power x? It is 0.5, so this is a decay. So just focus on where the power x is there. That's the main thing. Now you will see over here, growth, decay. Now, I'm sorry, I just realized one thing. I have swapped the answers. This is supposed to be the answer for this. This is decay 2/3 and this is growth 5 by 4 is 1.25. So it's 25% growth. Now then we will just look at these ones. Again, it's very, very easy. This is again a decay function. This is a growth function. Just by looking at it, you can say. That's it. That's the very short and simple topic. That's question number 14. Finally, we are in the last question of the part 1. The first 15 questions will be in the part 1, that is MCQ part. You will have 4 options. So it doesn't matter which method you use. You can use calculator method or any method directly or choose the correct answers. Now the last question is to analyze expressions and functions involving natural base e. This is an easy topic just like the question number 14. Here you need to just simplify these exponents. Now you must remember, whenever we have two same bases but different exponents, it's always adding up. So just add them up, it will be 8. 8 plus 3 is 11, so that's it. Here also 8, 4 plus minus 1 will be minus 1, so it will be e power 3, and here it will be e power 2. But what about the squaring? This is square for the entire thing, so it will be 2 square e to the power 3x the whole square. Whenever you square, it's not adding, it's multiplying. Here it's 4. Here you have to multiply 3 and 2, it will be 6x. This will be the answer. So you can see they're very easy, very simple. And over here again we have more problems on multiplying. So what you do is multiply this power. It will be 3 power 3 e to the power 4x the whole power 3. So 3 power 3 is 27, e to the power 4 times 3 is 12x. And now here the same thing, you're squaring this entire thing. Minus 4 squared will be positive 16. This minus times minus will be 6, positive answer. And over here it will be 10 to the power x. Now when you're dividing, remember this 26 by 13 is 2. What about the powers? Here nothing means it's power 1. The rule says when you divide two terms with same base but different exponents, and say over here you are minus 3. You just have to subtract the numerator from denominator. In this sense, 1 minus the below 1, minus of minus 3, it will be e to the power 4. Now here we have 4 minus nothing means it's 1. 4 minus 1, 2 e to the power 3. Same thing over here, it will be negative 3 e power 5. 7 minus 2 will be 5. These are the answers. Very simple and easy answers. You can directly solve them up. And then we have over here simplifying the last problem. Simplify this expression just like that. Divide 16 and the two numbers separately. Minus 8 will be the answer. Minus 16 by 2 is minus 8. Here 9 minus 3 is 6. So that is it. It will be minus 8 e to the power 6. We have come to the end of the part 1. I hope the exam will be very easy for you. The part 1 is much easy. You can use your calculator and solve it directly. Focus more on the writing part because you need to write everything in detail. I hope these videos have been beneficial. All the best for your exam. I hope it will be a great exam and everyone gets good marks.